Alright, Terry Pike with a 2006 Suzuki Forenza 2.0 liter engine. We're getting ready to put the buckets in. I've already got them bled. I've oiled them up as far as the outside and the face, and I've also put a little bit of Vaseline down here on top of the piston. Okay, so we're getting ready to drop these things in. Okay, the first thing you want to do is where the lifter bore is at. You want to get you a little bit of oil, squirt it in there. Make sure you got it around. Okay, you want to do that for all of them. Okay, get your magnet, and after you got everything lubed, get your magnet and put it on the, and you don't need stuff like that for sure. Okay, now get your magnet, put it on the face, take one final look, make sure everything looks good, the bore looks good. And it doesn't matter where you put this hole at. You could line it up with the gallery hole, but it's going to turn around, so it really doesn't matter. So you can just stick it down in there. I'm doing a little turn just to make sure everything looks good there. And you want to go down and you want to repeat this process. Of course, as you know, I'm putting these back in the order that they came out of. Okay, next step, what we want to do, first you want to make sure these here places where the journal is going to be sitting at in the head, you want to make sure those are clean. Make sure where the caps are going to sit is clean. Make sure your threads inside where the bolts are going to go is clean. And then take your little bit of oil and just squirt it right down there on the top. Don't get none down inside the hole for the bolt where it's going to go. Okay, also on your camshaft, this is the intake camshaft. You want to make sure you get your journals, get them all oiled up, get your lobes, everything there, okay? Get all of it oiled up. Okay, you're going to probably find out there's a spot where it'll probably want to seat, where it'll want to go down into the heads here. And we're off a little bit. I believe this right here pin should be straight across, but this will be okay. So I think we're going to go ahead and just get some caps on there. We'll come back and we can turn this later. I got this here. I got some Vaseline on it. I put a little bit of oil. You also want to put a little oil down in this cap, down in there. should basically come back to the back here, somewhere about like that. Okay. Take a little bit of oil, get up in there, put a little bit where the seal goes. And if you remember, I had marked mine, so there's my eye, so I know this is for the intake. Okay. Now I got the bolts here, they're lightly oiled, they've been cleaned up. So we'll go ahead and we'll get a couple of them started. Okay. This is the second cap. If you remember, when I marked this, there's my eye, there's my number 2, eye goes to the intake manifold. Okay. Now, I want to kind of get this one pulled down on this end a little bit. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So let me find my number 5 over here, which is right here. Let's put a little bit more. Again, eyes next to my intake manifold. Okay. Now you can see this one is sticking up a little bit up in the air. If you might have noticed, I got some rags in here. We don't need, I haven't got no plugs in here, so spark plugs. So we don't need anything dropping down in these holes by accident. Just a little safety precaution. Now let's get number 4. Last but not least, number 3. Okay, these are E10 bolts. Now what I'm going to do right now is very slowly, I'm starting in the center, I'm going to kind of work my way out. The idea is I'm just trying to evenly get this thing down. I'm just stopping where the bolt just starts to give me a little pressure. In other words, I know the caps have bottomed out now, but I don't want to go any tighter. Okay, I just want to go back just to make sure everything feels pretty good. Okay, now this over here, I haven't tightened down any of the bolts yet. They haven't been torqued. So now what we're going to do is going to do the exhaust cam right now. It should be close in this position to where it should normally be. I think it's off just a little bit. I think we got to turn it a little more this way. But if you do that, you're going to find it's going to try to raise up. So just kind of find a spot where it, you could drop all the journals down reasonably flat. So that's where I'm going to shoot for, and then we'll come back and we'll adjust it later. Again, make sure you got your oil in here. Put your seal on. Okay, now the exhaust camshaft is in, and I got it, it's pretty much finger tight. Now I've already gone through and I did a torque one pass over it. And I've done the second one. Let me show you what I've got here. Here's what it is, camshaft torque sequence. And they want 71 inch-pounds. Now what I did is I just broke it up into 3 parts. So I did the first one at 25 inch-pounds. Second pass I did at 50 inch-pounds. And I'm going to get ready to do the third pass so you can see that one. That's where it's going to finish it up at. You can see the torque sequence here. I want you to do this first cap. Then you want to come over here to the second one, and it just alternates. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, I'm going to do the third pass here. That's going to put it up at 71 inch-pounds. If you remember, I'm going to do number 1, then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's the sequence. So let me get over here, 71 inch-pounds. There it is. Let's get to the next one, 71 inch-pounds. Come over here. There's that one. There's that one. Now we're going to jump back over here on this one. And going back one more time just to ensure that they are where they're supposed to be. Okay, I think what we're going to do now is we're going to put the camshaft sensor in. That's how to go, just like this right there. Now I've got the bolt here. The bolt head is a I believe it was an E8. And I got a little bit of Loctite there on the bolt. Yeah, just kind of fit down over top of that bolt right here. Don't have a torque setting for this. It may be one, but I'm just gonna snug it up a little. Okay. Alright, here's the old camshaft bolt. Here's the washer. Okay. Now we got two new camshaft bolts. Just for you guys interested, if you want to replace them. These are torque to yield bolts. Only supposed to be used one time. So I went ahead and got two new ones. Two new bolts run you about 15 bucks. Okay. Alright. Oh, by the way, if you want this washer, I was going to get another couple of washers, but at $27 a piece, I decided I'd just use the old one. So here's the new one. It's going to take a little bit of oil. Bolt head. Actually, let's put a little bit on here too. And let's put a little bit behind it. Okay. Okay, now if you get your oil on there, I'm just going to put even though it didn't look like it had any on here if I was Loctite, I'm going to put a little bit on here. Something's rotating. I don't want this thing to loosen up. This is the intake sprocket. It's cleaned up. Make sure you clean this area out really good. Take a chance to look over it. Make sure you don't see any sharp edges on any of the teeth. You got any sharp edges or anything like that, that's going to tear into your belt, wear it out, and then the next thing you know, the belt's going to jump off of there. So this one looks pretty good. So let's go ahead and stick them on. You can see the pin there, or the slot. You want to put it over the pin. And I'm fine to line it up. So there it is. And you can see we're a little bit off. You can see that we need to be probably one more tooth over this direction. But we'll take care of that later. Alright, I'm going to do the exhaust camshaft now, sprocket. You see the EX, there's a slot. That's what we want to get the pin lined up on. Okay, so he's there. Okay, now to tighten these bolts for the camshaft sprockets, first we tighten it up to 37 foot-pounds. Then we come back, we're going to turn it 60 degrees. Then we come back and we turn it at 15 degrees, and then we're done. Hopefully that won't be too bad. Okay, when you get ready to tighten this up, just torque it up. I'm using a 15/16 wrench, a 24 millimeter will work also. I found a 15/16 to have a little bit, less slop. The idea is you're going to have to hold this, and at the same time you got to sit here and torque this up to 37 foot-pounds. Then you got to come back with an angle of 60 degrees, then come back with a 15 degrees. I needed all the hands I can, so I needed a helper here to hold this in place to get this torqued up and everything. But, it's just similar to the head bolts, if you watch that sequence of using an angle gauge. So they're tightened up right now. If you look right down here on the sprockets, you can see that this one is pretty close. These looks like it needs to go back this way, maybe one tooth there. This one here is normal, because when you take the belt off, you'll find out that this here exhaust sprocket, cam sprocket, is going to have a tendency, because of the spring pressure, it's going to kind of move this way. So I took it and just want to make sure this thing, cam's going to be moving in there pretty good. You don't want to go too far, because you remember we got a couple of pistons here at top dead center. So just make sure that these things will move. And this one here, see, going back that way, it's under spring tension. So that's probably about where he's going to be. And then when I let go, he'll come back. So that's good too. Just want to make sure that the camshafts are, going to turn. They ain't going to have any binding or anything of that sort. So that looks pretty good. So I think at this point right now, we're going to just hold it, close this here video out, and just we'll pick it back up.